Welcome to the Great Gatsby and the Roaring Twenties web quest. Today I'm going to give you some instructions and an overview of the web quest that I want you to complete over the course of the next 2 weeks. And at the end of or midway through the web quest, we are going to do some activities in class. You're going to have a project, a newspaper project. So all the information that you're gathering in this web quest is going to be used in your newspaper project that's going to be completed in class on Glogster. So let's go ahead and start with the introduction of The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby was written by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it was written in 1925. And it follows Jay Gatsby on his quest to win over his beloved Daisy Buchanan in the town of West Egg, a suburb in Long Island. And the story is told through the eyes of Nick Carraway. And it's set in the Roaring Twenties. And I thought it would be a good idea as we read through the book to actually understand the history that's surrounding the book and sort of work from the perspective of these characters. So basically, the purpose of this web quest is to explore the characters in the time period during the Great Gatsby. So anyway, let's move on. Down here I have put some interesting little videos from YouTube. They were done by John Green, and you've probably are familiar with his crash course videos that he produces on YouTube. So I've included those so that you can kind of get an overview of the Great Gatsby and the Roaring Twenties. I've also included a link right here, which is the actual book. So you don't even have to go out and purchase the book. It's in full online here, so you can actually read it online as you are completing this web quest. Next, I want to go to the background section of our web quest. The Roaring Twenties, of course, is the setting of the Great Gatsby. But there are some background information that's important to know about this time period. One of the things is that the United States had joined the World War I in 1917, and then by 1919 it had ended. So with the Peace of Paris Treaty. And this brought a uniting of the nations that essentially ended the war. And then after the war, or kind of during that time, Prohibition came about. And Prohibition essentially made selling alcohol illegal. You could produce it in your home and use it for different purposes, but you could not sell it. And so that actually led to an underground network of organized crime. And as you're reading the book, The Great Gatsby, you're going to see some of that rear its head in the storyline. And then the next big thing is the migration of African Americans to the north. And this led to the Harlem Renaissance. And this was a huge expansion of music, literature, art, and the jazz age actually came about from the Harlem Renaissance. Another term that you're going to see a lot is called flappers. And flappers, it's more of a style of that women wore than it is anything else. And this came about as women gained rights and they moved to the cities, and you're probably familiar with the look with the skinny dresses that came below the knee with the long beads and the cigarette in her hand. So what I want you to do in this section is I want you to watch the videos, the Roaring Twenties, the inventions, Prohibition, Harlem Renaissance, and flappers, and I want you to take notes, because you're going to need those notes later when you produce your newspaper project. Next, we're going to move on to the exercise section, and this section is just going to give you a review of everything you watched in the videos. So if you'll click on the Quizlet exercise here, it will take you to some factoids about what you learned in the videos. And I want you to complete the flashcards and the testing quiz section of that. Next, we're going to move on to task one. Task one is really centered around the main characters of The Great Gatsby. So you're going to essentially complete a character analysis worksheet that I have. So I've included this nice little picture that is a character map of the main characters in The Great Gatsby. And I've also included a character profile worksheet. This little link here will take you to the character analysis that'll kind of give you an overview of the characters. But I still want you to read through the book and form your own opinions, because there's some sections of the character analysis that you would have to enter a quote or your first impression of a character. Moving on to task two. Task two has to do with our journaling project. Basically, what I've done is I've set up a wiki space so that you can journal and reflect on the following three elements: the character's background, place, and surroundings in the story, the character's actions, interactions with other characters in the story, and the choices the character makes as a result of his or her personality, morals, or values. So basically what you're doing here is you're picking a character that you want to focus on, and then you're thinking about them in these terms. And every day I want you to go on the wiki space, and here it is. I'll click on it right here, which you can go to. We'll give that a few seconds here. And you can write down your thoughts and journal your thoughts about the characters as you read through the book. Next, we're going to talk about the process. The process is where our in-class project comes in. So basically what we're doing here is we're giving you all the pre-research activities that's going to help you complete the project in class. And so the project is basically an online newspaper. So once we get to class, we're going to divide up into groups and based on the character that you chose. And so here are some of the main characters: Nick Carraway, Jay Gatsby, Daisy Buchanan, Tom Buchanan. And I actually included the owl eyes, and you've probably seen the picture on the web quest with the two eyes staring. That is a very important character in the book, The Great Gatsby, even though it is not a human character. So as you read through the book, you're going to understand the importance of the owl eyes. So here I've laid out step by step, and I will actually be in class with you to help you understand each step of the process of creating a newspaper. And as we write our articles and create our ads in our groups, we're going to upload them onto Glogster, and that's going to be the platform for our newspaper. And then the final element in that is presenting the newspaper in class, and then at our next PTSA meeting, we're going to have it there for review. So basically, I wanted to go over the rubric. I've included that here. And the rubric is going to tell you a little bit about my expectations as far as this project is concerned.